Who will be Indonesia's next president? In the world's fourth largest democracy, that's the big question. The presidential elections pit incumbent Joko Widodo against retired General Prabowo Subianto, who also happens to be the son-in-law of the country's former authoritarian President Suharto. Early trends show that Joko Widodo is ahead, with 56.7% of votes counted against Prabowo Subianto's 43.3%. On your screens are visuals of both of them, Joko Widodo and Prabowo Subianto, casting their votes this morning. Keep in mind, Prabowo contested against Widodo in 2014 elections as well, so this current election is a rematch of sorts.
Siapapun yang terpilih kita harus akur, ya kan? Nggak usah saling inilah itulah, pokoknya adil, jujur, ya kan? Kalau memang Pak Jokowi menang, kita dukung. Pak Prabowo menang, kita dukung. Ya kan, yang penting kita kompak, jangan ada keributan. Ya kan, itu aja.
Voting began in Indonesia at 7 a.m. local time, and this election is extremely unique. It's the first time that Indonesia is voting for the country's president, parliament, and regional legislative bodies all together. This is probably the world's biggest and the most complex one-day election. Adding to the task of the election panel is the country's geography. Indonesia is an archipelago of more than 17,000 islands, and ballot boxes have to reach every nook and corner of the conglomeration of islands. In the last few days, ballot boxes were delivered using speedboats, horses, and even elephants. Conducting an election in Indonesia clearly isn't an easy task.
Ini negeri kita Indonesia bisa lebih maju, lebih tentram, ya, damai sejahtera gitu. Jadi pasti pikiran kita semua mempersiapkan untuk mencapai Indonesia yang lebih maju di hari-hari.
Let's now also take a look at some of the numbers. 17. It's the legal voting age in Indonesia. The island nation has 192 million registered voters. 805,075 or 805,075 polling booths have been set up across the country. There are a total of 16 parties contesting in the parliamentary elections. There are 711 National Assembly seats, 2,207 provincial seats, and 17,610 district seats. Indonesians are casting their franchise using ballot papers, but there aren't any pens or pencils. And the voters are choosing their candidates by using a nail to pierce a hole into the picture of their desired candidate. The Indonesian elections are in the balance, with the results yet to be finalized. Incumbent President Widodo is leading with having secured 56% and more of the votes. It's the world's biggest single-day election, and we here at Beyond World is One are bringing you the latest updates because the results in Indonesia could be announced any moment. It's simultaneous presidential, parliamentary, and regional elections that are being held. On the screens now are the early counting results, which have given the victory decisively to Joko Widodo. We have Devianti Farids, journalist, joining us live from Jakarta, the capital of Indonesia. Devianti, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on Beyond World is One. Talk to us, what is the latest update? Last we heard, Joko as Joko Widodo is affectionately called in Indonesia, is leading and winning this election.
Yes. The quick count has started and is still ongoing at the moment. It's a tally of the votes that were cast since this morning until around 1 p.m. local time. And as of 9 p.m. Jakarta time, it's around 95% of the votes have been tallied by the pollsters. Now, there's 6 reputable pollsters that have submitted their results to the National television stations for it to be broadcasted nationwide. And so far, Joko Widodo has led by 10 points. That's 10%. And for those who may not know how much that is, there are 190 million eligible voters this time round. So that roughly is around 19 million votes. And so that's a pretty big margin. And during a press conference around 3 or 4 p.m. local time, it's obvious that Jokowi was leading in the race, and he thanked the election workers for a smooth running elections, and he also called for national unity for Indonesians to reunite again, because this election was considered very, divisive among the community. It was very polarizing. And the press conference that was held by Prabowo Subianto, his opponent, he said he urged his followers not to cause any chaos, but he asked them to be vigilant to voter frauds. And he admitted that his own campaign team had exit polls made, and that it showed that he was leading in these exit polls. So this implies he's still not trusting the results or the quick count results by these 6 reputable pollsters. Yeah.
All right. At this stage, I wanted to ask you, there has been the rise of right-wing fundamentalist Islam in Indonesia, and that was supposed to impact Joko Widodo's vote bank. How much of an effect has it had?
Yes, there seems to be an increase in faith-based politics. And you can see during the campaign period that Prabowo Subianto had embraced more conservative Muslims around the country, and even among those are hardline Muslims. But it's one of the fortunate things for Joko Widodo to have chosen a running mate, Ma'ruf Amin, who himself is the chairman of the Indonesian Ulema's Council and considered also quite conservative, but definitely not a hardliner. So it sort of calmed the masses who were interested also in finding someone who is considered quite conservative in his thoughts, in his Muslim faiths. And so Joko Widodo was quite prudent in choosing Ma'ruf Amin as his running mate. And so that allowed him to garner more votes, and also the votes of Muslims that are joined in the Nahdlatul Ulama Islamic organizations and Muhammadiyah Islamic organization, and their members are in the millions in the country. So it has helped him a lot.
And what does his re-election mean? I mean, at this stage, we're looking at Joko Widodo coming back to power. You think, how would it play out, if you can tell us, in terms of the procedures in Indonesia from here on for Jokowi?
Well, Joko Widodo is still going to be completing his term until the end of September. And if he is considered the official winner, the next president by the National Elections Commission, then he will be inaugurated in October this year. So mind you that this is still the quick count results. The official results will not be in until around the end of May. So it takes a while to officially count all the votes that are coming in from nationwide. So he will still be in office, completing his term until this September. And according to his platform, as his political promises, he has promised the Indonesians that he will continue building the country, infrastructure development, and will focus on building human capacity, or improving Indonesians, and also reducing the poverty rate across the country. That's his promise to the Indonesian people.
Devyanti Farid's joining us live with the latest updates from Jakarta, the capital of Indonesia. Thank you, Devyanti, for taking time out to be with us here on WION Fine Print.